Hey, happy day 9 of the Get Up and Go Challenge. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. And as so often happens in a challenge, I changed my mind, especially on a longer challenge. It's a 30-day challenge. So I changed my mind about what we're going to do and what order we're going to do it in as we're going through it. And I was exposed to something yesterday that got me excited and reminded me something I was going to cover in the challenge, but I changed everything around and I'm doing it here today instead of later on in the challenge. And I call it BEFAT, B-E-F-A-T. And why do I call it BEFAT? Because it ties into what we did yesterday. We picked out what is the number one area that we're most concerned about right now. What is the thing that's on our mind that's keeping us up at night about our situation right now or the challenge that we're facing? What is the number one thing? Maybe it's something to do with your relationship. Maybe it's something to do with your job. Either you're working and you're freaking out and you're stressed out all the time. You're on the front lines of the COVID situation, or maybe your business has had to change gears and produce and manufacture products and services that you've never done before. Maybe you are shut down totally and you're freaking out because you're not sure what you're going to do. How are you going to keep your customers? What are you going to do moving forward? Whatever it is for you, we identified what that one thing, the number one thing is yesterday, and we asked ourselves, what is the story we're telling ourselves about this? For example, in the past, I have lost my job before. I've gotten fired. Yep, I've gotten fired. Believe it or not, not everybody loved my personality. Sometimes didn't always fit into the different environments that I put myself in. Sometimes I've gotten laid off. I've gotten laid off on more than one occasion. As you know, businesses and industry and times change a lot and all the time. And so the last time I got laid off was in, I want to say 2003 or 4. When my company was sold to a much bigger company, and I was let go as part of that. And guess what? Laid off and fired, it feels the same, even though you know it's not got anything to do with you. And all of you people, everybody that has lost their job, 10 million of you plus in the last few weeks, it has nothing to do with you. It has 100% to do with things outside the business owner's control. And so if you're taking it at all personally, somehow find a way to realize that that has got nothing to do with you, and that you are awesome, and that you can be even more awesome in what it is that you choose to do going forward, and that it's got nothing to do with you. That's, I think, what helped me to get over layoffs faster. Was I realized that my company sold to another company. I made a whole lot more than all the other people that worked in my department. I had 4 assistant managers and had me, but I made more money than all 4 of them combined. So from a business standpoint, it only made sense that I would be the one to go. And I knew that and prepared the team and everything. And so it felt different by the time, by you know, the 4th time, I think it was the 4th time I'd been laid off or fired, the last time when I left corporate America. Now, you'll notice I left corporate America for good after that, but I handled it a lot better the 4th time than I did the 1st time, right? And it was a lot quicker recovery. And so I am here with this challenge to help you, whatever your situation, make sure you have the quickest possible recovery. And what happens, the more we practice, the more we use this challenge process, the pivot process, the change process, whatever you want to call it, whatever feels right to you, the more you use it, the more it becomes automatic, and the faster you recover from any kind of unexpected occurrence or unexpected event. When stuff happens now, I'll give you a really small example. Yesterday, I made the mistake of accepting the new Facebook format. They've got a new format coming out. They're doing a big change, and there was a message on there that said, "Hey, you can try out the new format." And instead of thinking about it and researching it, I thought, "Oh, cool," because I noticed they'd done some changes already in how pages are handled and different technical things are handled. And I thought, "Oh, cool, I'm going to do that." Well, I did it, and I found out that yesterday morning, I found out then that all kinds of functionality and things that I do every single day don't work. Now, for me, who's visually challenged, when things change and don't work all of a sudden, and I can't figure them out, now I figured out some roundabout ways, but it was hard. And then I realized that, I was frustrated. I was like, okay, what am I going to do? And instead of getting super frustrated or upset about it, I just started to look for workarounds and figure out, how can I do what I do normally every morning, given that there's all these changes and the functionality is actually not working. Like, I couldn't download my Facebook Live videos. there was no way to download. The download function wasn't working from Pages. And I record my Facebook Lives on Pages. So I'm like, okay, well, that's not going to work. And then I realized after playing with it for a little bit, I got it to work off my profile, but I still couldn't get it to work off Pages or Groups. So I went in and I had to figure out how to get back to the old version. And I got back to the old version. But if that had happened even a year ago, it probably would have taken me 3 or 4 days of being frustrated before I figured out that there's always a workaround, there's always a solution. But now, you know, within a couple of minutes, I'm not thinking about the problem at all. I'm like, okay, I almost immediately now go to solution and go to options and go to what is possible. And that's where I want you to get throughout this challenge, to go from when you're faced with a challenge or an opportunities. I look at challenges as opportunities to be stepping stones to either take me to the next level, to my business to the next level, my relationships, or one of those 7 areas of my life to the next level whenever I'm faced with them. Otherwise, I wouldn't be faced with them. And our life is this journey of becoming a better version of ourselves. So, yesterday we found our story, right? We found the story that we're telling ourselves about things. We found our biggest challenge right now, and then the story that we're telling ourselves. Today we're going to take that a step further and a step deeper and break this down even more. And I use the acronym BEFAT because it's easy to remember, right? And it's not exactly in the right order, but it's close enough, and the acronym makes it easier for me to remember so I don't forget anything. So BEFAT, of course, stands for beliefs, action, or B would be beliefs, E would be emotions, F would be feelings, A would be actions, T would be thoughts, BEFAT. And those are 5 things that I want to remember, that they're all separate but interrelated, right? Our thoughts come from actually our feelings, and our feelings about things come from our past experiences, and our feelings are indicators to us of how something is impacting or affecting us. They're not good or bad, they're just what they are, and they're our automatic subconscious reaction to things that happen around us. So if something happens and I feel bad, depressed, worried, doubtful, fearful, stressed, anxious, or anything that makes me feel bad, then I know that that thing that's happened is not really for my benefit. It's not really good for me. Or at least what I'm thinking about that thing is not good for me. Because there's a slight distinction between the thing itself and the thoughts we have about the thing itself, right? We can't control the thing itself that happens, right? None of us can control that the COVID virus is running through our world, right? None of us have the ability to control that individually. But we do, each and every one of us individually, have the ability to control what we think about that, how we feel about it, how our emotions are going to be impacted by it, and the response and the action that we're going to end up taking out of that. Now, why do we want to focus on our beliefs and our feelings and our thoughts and our emotions? Why do we want to do that right up front? Because until we get a handle on those, we're not going to take any action. We're not going to do anything. We're not even going to look at, we won't even be able to see or believe that it's possible that there's options or there are things what we can do about a situation until we get through that, till we get through our beliefs, our feelings, our thoughts, and our emotions about the thing. So what we're going to do today, and our action item today, is going to be to look at the number one thing that we wrote down yesterday and the story that we're telling ourselves about that. We're going to brainstorm out the BEFAT. We're going to brainstorm out our beliefs, our feelings, our thoughts, and our emotions about that situation, about the thing. And we're not going to judge, and we're just going to write them all down. We're going to write them all down and capture them. And then after we write them all down and we get a cup of coffee and take a couple of sips or whatever your favorite beverage is, we're going to relook at that list, and we're going to put a little T by it if it's true for us, and we're going to put a little F by it if it's false for us. I'm writing this down because I just thought of this. So we're going to make out the list, and I'll make a chart and put it in there, or I'll make a Google Doc or something that you can do this on. But you can just grab a piece of paper like I did in my messy notes, and you can, and right across the top, and I would put it, what order would I put it in? It doesn't matter. I'll put it in an order, but it's going to be something like BEFAT, but I won't put maybe I will put them in order. It doesn't matter, because you can fill out a worksheet any way you want, right? You can fill out a book or worksheet any way you want. So we'll do the BEFAT, And I just want you to brainstorm at least 3 things, 3 to 5 things in each of those categories about the number one challenge, the number one thing that's on your mind about how you're being impacted by the COVID pandemic right now. How is it impacting you personally? What is the biggest challenge you have? If you lost your job, that's probably the biggest challenge you have is, hey, I freaked out, I lost my job, and I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do or what I should be doing right now. Some people hop right in and are job hunting. Every day, I'm on LinkedIn. Every day on LinkedIn, people are getting new jobs and landing new gigs and starting businesses and doing things like they never thought possible before. So there's all kinds of options and possibilities, but we won't even see them until we work through this thing, until we work through BEFAT, right? And none of us really want to be fat, right? I don't know about you, but especially now during the coronavirus, the last thing I want to do is keep gaining weight or be fat. I want to be healthier, right? I want to be healthier because the healthier we are, the stronger our bodies are, and the better chance we have of fighting off any type of illness, any type of sickness, much less the coronavirus. I hate calling it the coronavirus because I feel so bad for Corona Brewery right now and Corona Beer. And actually, any of my friends with the last name Corona, I actually have several friends with the last name Corona, and I want to ask them all, how has this been impacting you? Are you getting any hate mail or anything, or hate messages about Corona? And I would hope not. But you know what? People are really silly. People are blaming Corona Beer. I heard of when this first started, the statistics, and I know that they just closed one of their facilities because they have lost so much money during this crisis. And I just find it mind-boggling that people would even make that kind of a connection, but they do. You know, it's like, okay, everybody named Smith. If somebody named Smith does something, then everybody named Smith is guilty, right? I mean, how ridiculous. It's kind of like blaming Corona Beer. But we don't blame things that are really bad for us, right? And habits and things that we know are bad for us. Anyway, I'm getting off track. So let's get back to, that's our activity today. That's what we're going to do today. And I want you to put T and F by them. And you know if they're true or false by the way they make you feel, right? When you read this statement under a belief, say I lost my job and I put the belief that I deserve to lose my job. So I write that down. I deserve to lose my job. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, that is absolutely positively false. Absolutely positively false for 99.9999% of the people that have recently lost their jobs, right? Nobody deserved to lose their job. So how do you know if that's true or false for you? And maybe it is true. Maybe somebody who's listening, and I can't imagine who, was like embezzling for their company or from their company or doing something wrong, or a really bad employee and they lost their job and it just happened to coincide with this virus, but they were probably going to lose their job anyway, right? If you do something wrong, like steal from your company or something, you should lose your job. You probably deserve to lose your job. So I'm not talking to those people. I'm talking to everybody else who would write down, I deserve to lose my job. Or in any way, shape, or form, any of your statements that are blaming yourself for losing your job. How does that make you feel? Does that make you feel good when you read that statement, I deserve to lose my job? Or does it make you feel bad? If it makes you feel good, put a T by it. If it makes you feel bad, put an F by it, because it's a lie. It's false. It's not true. I just want you to do that today. So 3 to 5 things in each of the BEFAT categories, and then a little T or F by each one. And I want you to tally up how many T's and how many F's, and share that in the comments below. So how many T's and how many F's in the comments. That's all you have to share today. You don't have to share your list. If you want to make your list out and take a picture of it and share that in the comments below, that would be ideal. That would be awesome. And that is what I'm committing to do. I'll do that today. I will pick my one thing and I will do that today, and I'll put a picture of mine in the comments below. I was going to do another exercise today out of the Don't Sweat the Small Stuff workbook, but maybe I'll say that for another day. It was all about life isn't an emergency, but I think this exercise feels better and feels more right for what we should do today. Because until we get past the BEFATs, we're not going to ever take any action. We're not even going to see that what else is possible or what we can do. So let's do this today. If you have any questions about this, go ahead, hit me up in the comments below. And then I'm starting to collect questions for a Q&A, a live Q&A, and we'll pick a time. If you've got a particular time you'd like to do a live Q&A, hit me up with that too and let me know so I make sure I can schedule time to do it when it works best for more people than just me. Like right now, doing this in the morning works best for me because my 4-year-old granddaughter isn't here yet. But once she gets here, it's pretty hard to do live videos. So we'll go ahead and have my alarm. I gotta turn that off. I'm writing myself a note. Turn off 6:30 alarm. That's it. Have an amazing day, and I will of course be with you tomorrow with another Get Up and Go challenge. What we can do every day to make sure each and every one of us is better off by the end of this month, by the end of this downtime, quarantined, safer at home, whatever it is in your area, period. Because each and every one of us has the ability to be actually better off than when we entered the beginning of this month, this Get Up and Go challenge. So let's get up and go. Have an awesome day. If I can help you in any way, ask. Just ask, and I will be with you tomorrow. Bye.